for something brave, but I'll never change if I lie here and wait. I keep screaming out that I'm made for something more, but I need to stop and get my feet on the floor. What am I waiting for? I can't say it. What am I waiting for? The answer is no.
You are tuned in to Will the Thrill. Now, here's your host, Will the Thrill.
I'm Will the Thrill, and today we're going to wrap up my 2018 NFL mock draft with picks 21 through 32. So let's go ahead and get right to it. With the 21st pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals will select offensive tackle Billy Price. I know there's a lot of positions that the Bengals should have addressed in free agency in the draft, but I feel like no more needs to be addressed than an offensive lineman. Andy Dalton is a pretty good quarterback. He just never has the protection. They need linemen. With the 22nd pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills will select linebacker Rashaan Evans. Yes, like I said, I don't have Buffalo taking a quarterback in the first round. I feel like they need to address their defense. You look at who they play. They play Tom Brady every year, and he always dissects their defense. If they ever want a shot at winning the division, not just getting a wild card, I feel like they have to build their defense. They could still get a quarterback in the second round. If they don't, they have A.J. McCarron, and they have Nathan Peterman, so they have depth at quarterback. I feel like the smart thing to do is build defense. With the 23rd pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns will select with their first pick from New England, cornerback Josh Jackson. Cleveland doesn't really have a good base at defense. They have Myles Garrett, they have Jamie Collins, but after that, their secondary is very weak. They got Demarius Randall from Green Bay, but I feel like they could really use the help. And with the picks that they have in the first round, I feel like they could really use a top corner like Josh Jackson. That could really help their defense. And with all the moves they made in free agency on offense, this could really balance out their team, and this could give them a legit shot at making a wild card push. With the 24th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers will select offensive tackle Connor Williams. They have Ryan Khalil, who's been in and out of games the past couple years with injuries. They signed his brother Matt Khalil last year in free agency. That didn't work out as well as they wanted to, and they lost Andrew Norwell to Jacksonville in free agency. They really want to protect their star quarterback Cam Newton. Draft Connor Williams. With the 25th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans will select defensive back Ronnie Harrison. I know they just signed Malcolm Butler and they have him to go along with Logan Ryan, but I feel like that could be such a huge help to their defense to draft this defensive stud. Ronnie Harrison, you could play him at corner, you could play him at nickel or safety, and he will be dominant, in my opinion, at any of those positions. And I feel like their defense was good enough last year with what they had, but then Malcolm Butler and Ronnie Harrison, this could really take their defense over the top. With the 26th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons will select defensive end Sam Hubbard. They lost Adrian Claiborne to free agency. He signed with New England. I feel like Sam Hubbard falling all the way to 26 will be a huge steal for Atlanta. They could really use the help defensively. They're still pretty set on offense. Their offense is still the same as when they got to the Super Bowl. I feel like they really have a lot of holes on defense, and none is a bigger hole than their defensive line. Them drafting Sam Hubbard at 26 will be a huge steal for Atlanta. With the 27th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints will select quarterback Mason Rudolph. Yes, I have the Saints drafting a quarterback in the first round. I feel like their team is pretty set. Their defense proved last year that they were fine with the additions they made by drafting Marshawn Lattimore last year, and their offense is way more than just above average. Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, and Drew Brees for now, top 5 offense, and it will be going into next year. I feel like Mason Rudolph is good enough to where you can draft him now. He can sit behind Drew Brees for a year or two, and it'll be a perfect situation for New Orleans. With the 28th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers will select linebacker Shaquem Griffin. Yes, the shock of the draft, Shaquem Griffin is going to go in the first round to Pittsburgh at 28. He ran the fastest 40 time for a linebacker since 2003. He shocked everyone at the combine. He is more than just a regular linebacker. You cannot hold his birth defect against him. He will be a steal. He will be a dominant linebacker in the NFL. And with the injury to Ryan Shazier, they could really use Shaquem Griffin. They can plug him in with TJ Watt and Bud Dupree, and Pittsburgh will have one of the most dominant linebacker trios in the NFL. With the 29th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars will select wide receiver Courtland Sutton. They lost Allen Robinson to free agency to Chicago, and they also lost Allen Hurns to Dallas. They need a new number 1 receiver to go with their young quarterback Blake Bortles. They had a decent offense last year with the trio of wide receivers that they had, but now that pretty much all of them are gone, they need a new guy for Blake Bortles to throw the ball to, and I really feel like Courtland Sutton, him falling all the way to 29 could be a steal for Jacksonville, and this could get their offense in good enough shape to get them back to the AFC Championship. With the 30th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings will select cornerback Isaiah Oliver. I don't have the Vikings taking an O lineman or possibly a wide receiver. I have them addressing defense like they always do with Mike Zimmer. This would be a great pick for them to get at 30. Isaiah Oliver is a top 5 corner in this year's draft class, and him falling to 30 would be a huge steal for the Vikings. They have Xavier Rhodes, who's one of the best corners in the game right now, but then after that, they don't really have a lot of good depth. They have Terrence Newman, who's about to turn 40 years old, and they have former first-round pick Trey Waynes, who really isn't playing up to expectations. Isaiah Oliver could be a perfect nickel or second corner to go along with their stud Xavier Rhodes. This would be a great pick for the Minnesota Vikings. With the 31st pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns will select linebacker Leighton Vander Esh. Like I said earlier, I believe the Browns are going to continue to build their defense. They already got their quarterback of the future at number 1, and now they're going to continue to build their defense. They have a good enough offense if they get Sam Darnold to possibly make a wild card push. They need to continue to build their defense. There's a lot of tough competition in the AFC North. You have Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown. You have Joe Flacco and now Michael Crabtree. You have a lot of tough competition, and the Browns really need a defense if they really want a shot at making the playoffs. With the 32nd pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles will select tight end Hayden Hurst. They have a number 1 tight end in Zach Ertz, but they did lose a good tight end in Trey Burton to free agency in Chicago. Hayden Hurst would be a great addition to their offense. He would be a great number 2 tight end, and who knows, he could possibly be a good quarterback to use on the Philly special if they make it back to the Super Bowl.